Welcome back to the Hambonez Show. Thank you for joining us today. We got Matt, Troy, and myself, Jordan, and Zach always coming in with some picks from behind the scenes here. We got week 13 in the NFL.
Yeah,
Best week of the year, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Very nice.
Thursday
very nice.
games, Friday games, Sunday games, Monday
The
games.
game on Saturday.
Exactly. Here we go. Check this out.
Yeah.
Oh, represent. I like
Oh
it.
boy. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Hey, we got a real quick touch on the breaking news that came out like 3-4 hours ago. All pro center coming back for the Detroit Lions. Frank Ragnow. Let's go. Just
Man,
like that.
I was
Initial thoughts.
like, I mean, obviously, just one of the best centers in the league the last few years, and kind of a stone of our O line, kind of what we built around since Dan Campbell got here. So, and at the very least, vibes are high. I've got to believe that there's a feeling inside that building like, okay, that's what we needed. All right, let's go. Going into December, let's get hot the last few weeks here. So, it's exciting.
Yeah. You don't want to put too much on one player, but I mean, he really has the potential to change everything. I mean, obviously, we're kind of assuming he's still in shape and, having however many months off, he can come back. But essentially, you're going from maybe right now, probably the worst center situation in football to maybe the best, I guess is what I was trying to say. And especially with this Lions offense, that's everything. So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes back, I guess, in a couple weeks is what they're kind of saying. But
yeah,
it's big news.
Huge.
That's awesome. And we'll dive into it a little bit more in our Honolulu Blue breakdown. You can go ahead and click this link. I'm sure there's something popping up. I've been working on these little things popping up, or check the link down below. Yeah, at the very least, Matt, the vibes, I like that. Or even the leadership, right? Like you got Tate Ratledge, some young guys,
Yeah.
Mahogany. Like, I don't know if he's coming back just for this year, or like his contract was through this year and next year. Like,
Yeah,
that's whew, man. What exciting news.
for sure.
Lion fans, I think we needed a little glimmer of hope here.
Yeah, for sure.
A little boost, I'll say.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, we're going into week 13 here. Here's our updated Hambonez standings. Zach is still leading the pack. His plus 10s are crushing it. He hasn't missed a lock in a while. But we all had pretty good week again this past week. So nice to see the Hambonez doing well overall, despite being in competition.
Yeah, and 2 straight weeks of perfect our Hambonez lock. So this last week we were 7-0. Week before we were 4-0. So we're on a bit of a streak here.
Ooh, might want to throw a parlay on this week. Let's see.
Yeah, we're up to 76%. So if you're watching, it's free money.
Yeah, and I feel like we really improved too. There was in the beginning, it's so hard in the beginning of the year, but there was a couple weeks where we were, missing a few. But when we get all on the same page, we've been rolling. All right, let's see where this brings us to. I think we all know. Is it less 12 hours? About 15 hours. About 15 hours. We're going Green Bay. Taking on the Detroit Lions, the first game on Thanksgiving. Let's go. Man, how exciting. Zachary, let me pull up his picks. I'm back on the phone today. Give me a second here. Actually, well, yeah. No new segments. He just had some grateful, what I'm thankful for. Jahmyr Gibbs, number one, probably not going to win NFL MVP this year, but he's definitely the Lions MVP. That game was sick. Number two, Sheila Ford Hamp, the Lions owner. You don't often see incredibly rich individuals admit they don't know what they're doing. The fact that Sheila had the humility to lean on Chris Spielman to find a new GM and head coach in 2020 to reset the culture says a lot about her character. And lastly, three, you guys, the Hambonies out there, bouncing football takes and picks back and forth each week has truly been a wonderful escape from the stress and struggles of this crazy world we live in. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of this journey.
Love you, Zach.
Yes.
The leader our leader, Zach, coming in with some wholesome. Usually he's got the funny takes and the clever takes, but that was pretty wholesome on Thanksgiving
Good stuff.
nonetheless. So, number one, he's going Lions over the Packers. Zach says, I keep telling myself that the Lions' super stressful win on Sunday was because they were looking ahead on the schedule a little too much. On this weird Thanksgiving short week, it's a huge advantage to be at home.
Yeah. This is the revenge game from week 1 when the Packers kind of beat up the Lions pretty good. I mean, it's obviously a key divisional game. This game probably determines the division champion versus a wild card. So I don't think it's necessarily a must win for either team to make the playoffs. But in terms of winning the division versus playing a road game, it is. Lions have the better offense. Packers have the better defense. I'm going to Detroit, though, at home on Thanksgiving. They have gone back and forth winning and losing every week, but I think they know this one's important. They've always played good in revenge games. Give it to me. Give me the Lions.
Nice. So Thanksgiving week number, or I guess game number 1 Thanksgiving. This is Uni Alert number 1 as well. The Lions, as we all know, are going to wear their throwbacks, which aesthetically, I love them. They're perfect for this day. They have not won in those in a very long time. I'll get into that a little bit in HBB. So for the game itself, I'm still going to go Green Bay. I still think that, our O-line is a little susceptible. We obviously Frank's not going to be playing tomorrow, but I think it'll be a old fashioned, scrap fight. Kneecaps will be bitten. But unfortunately, I think Green Bay kind of overpowers us with their defense.
Yeah, I don't know who's playing center tomorrow because Glasgow's out. Brock Wright is out. That really sucks. I think I already put an anytime touchdown for him. Kirby's out. But on the other side, Reed's out. He's been practicing. I thought they were going to bring him back, so that's a little less firepower. And then they have a bunch of questionable players. Matthew Golden, Hobbs, their corner, Nixon, another secondary piece, and Quay Walker, also questionable. Sure, most of them will play, but just having them on there, it's like I feel like we need every bit we can get. I'm pretty scared of the Packers. I'm still thinking of week 1. I'm going Detroit because I got to. I don't know if it's the smart pick or not, but we need some magic again. We'll break it down more in the HBB, the upcoming game, last week's game. Go ahead and click that link popping up here right now. So join us there for more One Pride content. Let's go. Yeah, so this week's theme too, by the way, I picked I'm just calling it Dueling Stars. That's my own term coined. I just kind of picked like a star or a figure from each team, whether it's a player, staff member, owner in this case, and just kind of had fun with it, different types of cartoons and graphics, and a lot of them are centered around Thanksgiving since it's a really fun, wholesome week. But here we go. Number 2 game for the Thanksgiving tomorrow. Oh my gosh, that's blowing my mind. Zach's going Chiefs over the Cowboys. Everything in my gut is telling me to pick the Cowboys. George Pickens is awesome. 18 catches for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. And the defense made plays against Philly. But I can already see the headline. The Chiefs are back as they score like 45 while T Swift goes crazy in the skybox. Tis the season.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it's the home Cowboys, and the Cowboys at home are a pretty good team. They do have the number 1 offense in the NFL, but they have a really bad defense. I'm kind of with Zach, though. I think the Chiefs will win. Their offense should be able to score plenty to keep up with Dallas, knowing Dallas's bad defense. And the Chiefs actually do have a pretty good defense to try and slow down Dallas. So even though they're both coming off big wins, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you said and what Zach said as well. When they're kind of their backs aren't against a wall at this point, but they're still pretty close. They're still riding that line. The last couple of weeks, getting a big win last week as well against the Colts. But I think this is kind of a prime time game. This is Mahomes, this is where he shines, as we've seen in the past. So give me the Chiefs.
I don't want to go Cowboys here. I was going Chiefs the whole way. I don't know if I want to lock them, though. Dallas is scary right now. Chiefs do have a Pro Bowl guard. Trey Smith is out. The Dallas defense, it's a new look, right? You got a bunch of new players from trade and coming back from injury. The loss of a teammate, too. Like, maybe they're just going to wear their hearts on the sleeve and just play at a crazy level. That emotional bit of it. So I'll stick with my pick. I'm going to stick with the Chiefs. I think prime time, they're really kind of in do or die mode still. You can't drop these types of games. Yeah. And I don't want Dallas to start catching fire either, because we got them next,
for sure.
so.
Yeah, and we've got them next week too. So, and one more thing on this one. This is alert number 2 already. The Cowboys. Kind of forgot about that a minute ago, but they're rocking their classic kind of Thanksgiving threads that they always wear, the white helmets, kind of the navy jerseys. I don't, they're not too flashy, but they just, when you see them, it's Thanksgiving, you're going to be taking a nap on the couch. So it's perfect.
Here we go. Last game on Thanksgiving.
Burrow.
Joey Burrow's back. Yes, he is. He's not sitting at the kiddie table anymore. He's being a grown man tomorrow, taking on Lamar Jackson. Oh, I forgot to do my little records here. Cincinnati's 3-8. They're headed to Baltimore, who is 6-5, and Baltimore is a 7-point favorite with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase coming back. T. Higgins is out, however. Zach's leading us again. Let me find Zach. Zach is going Bengals over the Ravens. Chase is back from suspension. Joey B may be back. Lamar is averaging under 18 rushing yards per game since coming back from his injury. How will he look in the short week? Wow, nice.
Yeah, this Burrow return kind of throws this game on its head. It's kind of the emotional return of him. It's almost like since he has to run the table to, I haven't done the math to see if that would even be enough, but it's kind of surprising they're bringing him back. It almost seems like, maybe tank for a draft pick would be the better decision, but I guess as long as you still got a shot, man, I am going to go Baltimore, though. They're hot. They've kind of got it going a little bit. I'm really close to picking the Bengals, though. This one for me is one of those like 51% type picks. So I'm going to go with the home team in that respect, just basically because of that.
Yeah, nice. So again, uni alert number 3. So we're 3 for 3 on Thanksgiving. Baltimore is going there. I don't know what they call them, but they're basically a lot of purple, a lot of gold, kind of an old school or kind of just an alternate logo on their helmet. I think that maybe gold face masks as well. So that'll be a fun look tomorrow night. I just think the Ravens are rolling. They're kind of on a, the last month they've kind of been going uphill, and now I feel like they're going to go down, and not in the standings, but I just think they're going to snowball into the division win, and they're going to be pretty hot going into the playoffs. So yeah, give me the Ravens.
Yeah, this is such a great rivalry right here that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, it's intra-division, and Burrow versus Lamar. I feel like we've seen some really good games out of this. That's why I was really surprised that Baltimore is a 7-point favorite. I don't know if that's that line shifted at all. With that was even with the Joe Burrow news. I'm going with the Ravens. I just I agree. They need it more. I know Joe Burrow did make a comment, Troy. I saw one video of him talking just about if he can play, he's gonna play, sort of thing. He gets where people are coming from, but that's just he's gonna play, sort of thing. So
yeah,
not sure if it was
sense.
Yeah, if it was up to the front office, they are probably don't get hurt again, let's just hang out. And here we go. Now we got the Eagles. Where were the Eagles? 2 8-3 teams. We got the Chicago Bears going to Philadelphia, also 8-3. Philly is a 7-point favorite here on Black Friday.
Ooh.
Zach's going Eagles over the Bears. Bears keep passing the tests. We know this defense is legit. How will Caleb Johnson, wink wink, handle pressure up the middle? It's a good question.
Whew. Yeah. Is this a battle for the number 1 seed? Obviously, the Bears might have, are right there. But I don't know. Are they ready for this? I don't think so. I think it's too early. Maybe next year the Bears would be in a situation to really be battling for that number 1 seed. Their schedule is brutal. Just kind of looking at it. I mean, this is the start of a gauntlet. So I think this is going to be the start of the fall for them. Philly's coming off a bad loss against Dallas. They're rivals, so they're probably extremely angry. They're at home. Philly fans, they're not going to be able to even walk around town if they lose this game. So I'm going with the Eagles. Too important of a game for them to lose. I don't think the Bears are ready for prime time.
Yep, I'm kind of excited to see this game, kind of not at the same time. I'm actually sorry. Uni alert number 4. We're 4 for 4 already. So Eagles are going all black. So Black Friday, Eagles are going all black. So, but I am going the Bears. I hate that I am. It's weird. So like Black Friday games, I don't know why they start them at 3:00. It's gonna be a weird vibe. It's gonna be like, are people watching? I don't know. So I just think it's going to be a weird game. I think Ben Johnson and Caleb Johnson are going to sneak up on them. There's something up with that team right now in Philadelphia, and the Philly fans know it. And I don't know. It scares me to say this, but I think Chicago might be good.
Ooh.
Yeah. My notes, I just have like which team implodes last, like who's going to screw up at the end, because it could come down to something like that. Both of these teams are prone to that, like huge hiccups and mistakes or just total failures in like one quarter or something like that. So it'll be interesting, this game. Initially, I was on Chicago, but then I kind of switched a lot of my picks to just kind of like fandom, what's going to help us get into the playoffs more, just so it's like, if my picks all hit, then also it helps the Lions. So in that case, I'm going with Philly. I need the Bears to start losing. I'm getting nervous. If they win this one, we might be in trouble. It depends on the North is tight. If we don't win tomorrow and the Bears win a few more, we might be in trouble.
Yep.
All right, CMC and the Niners. Where are we sitting here? Niners are 8-4, and they're 4.5-point favorites going over to Cleveland, who has improved to 3-8. Zach is going the Browns over the Niners. How many snacks? How many sacks would Myles Garrett need to win MVP? He has 18, is on pace for 28.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I mean, it seems like in the NFL, you have to be a quarterback to win it. We were talking about, Jonathan Taylor or even Gibbs winning it would be tough. But yeah, I don't know. How many would Myles Garrett have to have? 30, 35? I don't know. Yeah, Cleveland has a great defense. I was actually surprised. The number 2 ranked defense, but their offense is obviously dreadful. It is Shedeur Sanders' game. Maybe they found something with him. We'll see. This is a time zone game. San Francisco heading east for a 1:00 game. So be careful, San Francisco. I am going to pick the 49ers, though, but I'm treading lightly because I kind of agree with what Zach's saying. This kind of has the feel of a weird game, but the 49ers are kind of like the Lions, where they're right at the end of the playoff picture here, and they kind of just got to keep winning. So you can't drop one to the Browns.
Yeah, I do agree that Cleveland does look dangerous right now. But I'm going to go the 49ers. I feel a lot more comfortable with it than you do, Troy. I mean, yeah, Cleveland, they have Myles Garrett, but Shedeur Sanders is the second start. I think the 49ers have a lot to play for, so Shanahan's going to have them ready to go. And I just don't think there's enough talent on Cleveland to kind of keep up with that. So, yeah, give me the Niners.
On Sunday, it's going to be 39 degrees, windy, 20-plus mile-per-hour winds, gusts up to 44 miles per hour. I'm looking at Purdy throwing a few picks last game, getting a little, shaking that rust off still maybe. People are wondering, like, is Mac Jones better than Purdy in this system? Shedeur Sanders scares me a lot. I'm going Browns. I'm going Browns with Zach. We're going to banana split this jaw. I think is what the kids say. They were teaching me that the other day, the juniors. It's like short for junk, maybe. I don't know. Comment down below if you're watching and you're like a Gen Z or whatever generations we're in now. Yeah, I'm going Browns. All right. Who do we have now? The Jacksonville Jaguars are 7-4. They're 6.5-point road favorites going to Tennessee, who is still sitting at 1-10, but they're looking good for that first overall pick. Zachariah. Zach's going Titans over the Jaguars. This is Tennessee's fourth straight week at home. They lost each of the previous 3 and one-score games. They have to get one of these eventually, right? Last I checked, I still have the Jags on fraud watch, he says.
Yeah, I like where Zach's head is at here. I was thinking similar things. I was kind of surprised when I started looking at this game. I was like, really? Jacksonville 7-4? It doesn't seem like it. And this does feel like a game. Tennessee at home, even though they're 0-6 at home, their only win is on the road. And they have the worst offense in the NFL. At some point, they got to win a second game, right? I don't know. But I'm not going to try and pick when that game is, though. So I'm going to go Jacksonville just because I've tried to pick these games before and I've never gotten them right, I feel. So I am going to go Jacksonville.
Yeah, I agree with you here, Troy. I wish I could pick the Titans. Like, you got to feel like they're going to win another game, but when you watch some of the highlights, I sure haven't turned down one of their games. I see why they have the record they have, unfortunately. But I think Cam Ward has some promise, but give me the guy in the big dread or long hair over there, the Jags.
I didn't have too many notes here. I'm just kind of looking at their defenses. Tennessee's doesn't have a great defense, and Jacksonville's kind of middle of the pack. Although Jacksonville has the number 1 least amount of rushing yards per game given up. So, Pollard, I guess they can hold. I'm going Jacksonville. Just kind of echoing what you guys would say, basically. So keep that one short and sweet. The Houston Texans are 6-5, going over to division opponent 8-3 Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 4.5-point favorites at home. Zach's going Texans over the Colts. Indy got bullied by the Chiefs, and now that the number 1 Houston defense that just locked up Josh Allen is in town, no thank you.
Yeah, Indy's now lost 2 of 3 after we were, kind of wondering, are they legit? Are they not? I still think they're legit, but, we were wondering if they're the best team in the NFL. Houston's on a little bit of a streak here with Davis Mills, but the Colts are 6-0 at home. I am going to go with the Colts. They're going to get back on track, I think, even though that Texans defense looks scary. But I think it just being a home game for the Colts puts them over the top.
Yep, I agree with you here, Troy. The Colts coming off that loss, they want to kind of prove to everyone, hey, we're still, who everyone kind of potentially thought we were with the record that they had, kind of atop of the AFC. And they're at home, so I think they're going to get back on track. A side note, I wish the Texans would bring back that red alternate uniform. I know they had the candy apple reds a week or 2 ago, but I'd like to see those again. Those are cool.
Yeah, I hear you guys. I feel like this is one Indy really needs. I think it would really make this division wide open. Jacksonville sitting at 7-4, Houston's 6-5. If they win, improve to 7. That'd be pretty crazy. I'm with Zach. I'm going defense here. I'm a defensive guy. I was believing in the Colts a lot this year and just kind of seeing like maybe they were hot and now they're starting to downslide. I don't know. I could see them winning this one though. I think CJ Stroud's coming back. That makes me a little nervous. They looked almost, I don't want to say better with what's a long neck dude?
Davis Mills.
Have you seen those pictures?
Yeah.
He's got a long neck.
He does.
Strong,
I actually
strong.
thought, I thought, a few years ago his neck looked a lot crazier and skinnier, but now I feel like he's beefed up a little bit.
Right.
Maybe he's been in the weight room, doing some head curls.
Hopefully. Next, we have the Dolphins. Saints going to Dolphins. So the 2-9 New Orleans Saints are going over to Miami, who is 4-7, and they are Miami's a 6-point favorite. Zach is going Dolphins over the Saints. The Dolphins are on a 2-game win streak, and the Saints are starting to look like a team that realizes a top 3 draft pick would help a lot.
Yeah, I like the Mike McDaniel there. Shout out to him, because if you remember 5 weeks ago, they got blown out by the Browns, and we were all wondering if McDaniel would survive the following day, but he has, and now they've won 3 of 4. So maybe they're on a little bit of a streak here. I was a little shocked that the Saints have a fairly decently ranked defense, but I'm going to go with Miami at home, kind of like what Zach said. I think the Saints are thinking towards next year, and for some reason the Dolphins have a little momentum, so they probably keep it going.
Yeah, I'm on the Dolphins as well. I think Mike McDaniel, he's gonna try to coach everyone up. He's fighting for his job still. We'll see what happens at the end of the year, but I mean, if he can get to I don't know, 7 or 8 wins potentially, I still think that's a long shot. But maybe he keeps his job. I don't know. Unlikely, but I think he's got a lot to push for, and it's in Miami. So
this is definitely a scenario I'd love to jump and go solo. I feel like I did that last week on the Saints, and it's a knee-jerk reaction. They couldn't get anything going against the Kirk Cousins-led Atlanta Falcons. In fact, the Saints, they were so sloppy. They had like fumbles in the red zone and just like terrible issues going on in that game. So yeah, enjoy, a high draft pick. Miami, let's see. I don't know if there's really room in their division for them to make a run, or the AFC in general, but good for them to turn things around here, it seems like. And this is definitely a winnable game here at home. Another lock there. Is that only the second lock of the interesting. The next game we're going to is the 4-7 Atlanta Falcons, our road favorites by 2.5 points, going to the New York Jets, who are 2-9. Zach's going Jets over the Falcons. How will Kirk Cousins' body hold up? Watch AG get in his bag with some crazy pressures.
Yeah, this was one I haven't picked yet. This was a hard game for me. It's just a gross game. We talked last week about Cousins kind of providing that spark for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, and then his body falling apart. So I'm trying to determine, does his body fall apart this week, or does he have one more game, kind of like what Carson Wentz did for the Vikings, where it was a little bit of a jolt in the arm, and then eventually he just couldn't hang. It's in New York. That's big. I'm going to go with the Falcons, though. I think they just have a little bit more skill around Cousins. I think he can keep it upright for another week. And I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Ooh, the Falcons, huh? I'm going with Zach. I think it's more to do with the Falcons, actually, where they're, they'll rattle off a win and like, oh yeah, they're a solid team, right? But then, they show up the next week and kind of a stinker. So I just think they're so up and down, more down than up, that, I think the Jets, again, I think, he's going to turn in that culture around little by little, and they're going to be fighting. And yeah. And who's playing quarterback for the Jets again? Because they bench. Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, there you go. So, I think he's feisty. I think he gets the win.
Yeah, Breece Hall was looking good too, other than the fumble. Yeah, I don't know. This is hard. You guys are making me second guess, because at first I was thinking Jets. And then I was like, no, that's too cute. Like, I went against the Falcons. They got Bijan. I'll stick with Troy. I'm gonna stay with the Falcons. Let's see. Drake London is doubtful, though. That's a little worrisome. But if the Falcons win out, they got a chance to take their division. Not sure that's likely, but it's still there. Arizona's 3-8. They're on the road to Tampa Bay, who is 6-5. Tampa Bay is a 2.5 point home favorite. Let's see
Do we
what
know if
Zach's
Baker's
got
playing?
here. Don't know. I haven't really looked at that at all.
I just
I
kind
feel
of
like he's
assumed
doubtful.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna pull up the injury report right now. Well, it says questionable today. Let me just double. Yeah.
He'll play.
He was a non-participant in today's walkthrough, though.
Uh-oh.
But he is questionable. Yeah.
Zach's on the Bucks. He
think he
says the
plays.
game I struggled with the most ultimately followed the West Coast coming east rule. Pressure's on Troy.
Yeah. Man, Tampa Bay. When we played them, they were 5-1, potentially the best team in the NFL. Baker maybe MVP, and since then they've lost 4 of 5. Now both of these teams are on a 3-game losing streak. I know for Tampa Bay, because of the division they're in, it's not actually a must-win, but it kind of feels like it is for the vibes. They're starting to get healthy. Bucky Irvin's back. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I think they get kind of back on track.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to this game. I'm going to take the Bucks as well. And I just can't do anything with the Cardinals. I think they've got a clean house after this year, so it's more to do with that. So give it the Bucks.
Yeah, Bucky should be back. You got Chris Godwin still kind of, getting back into the rhythm of things, and you still got Mecca Buka tearing things up. Teddy Bridgewater did not look great though. Some of the plays we saw from him when they just got handled by the Rams, but yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't know if this is the best Hambonez lock, but we're locking in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next, we have, the LA Rams 9-2. They're 10.5-point road favorites going to the divisional leader of the NFC South, the Carolina Panthers, who are 6-6. They're dogs at home by 10.5 points. Good Lord. Zach's got the Rams over the Panthers. He's happy to see Stafford get his flowers, and the Rams are cooking.
Yeah, this is another time zone game, though. In the 10.5, and it's actually growing. I think it opened at 8.5, and it's been bet up to 10.5. The Rams are red hot. I am going to go the Rams, but this is a trap game. I feel like the Panthers have been known to kind of mess around and knock off some good teams. So, if you're a Rams fan out there, this might not be a very comfortable game, but I do think they win.
Ooh, well, this is not going to be a Hambonez lock, I'll tell you that. So I'm taking the Panthers. I think kind of what you mentioned, Troy. They're going to be hot off that big win prime time last week. The Rams will be, and traveling to the East Coast and taking on a feisty Panthers team, which, like we just talked about, they're still alive for the division. So they could very well grab that. So they're going to have a lot to play for. The Rams, everyone's talking about them. And I think, they've been hot in November, obviously, but, you'd rather be hot later in the year. So maybe they kind of look past them. So give me the Panthers.
You know how many times I've heard this week just in random media that I listen to, like, people would be shocked if the Rams aren't in the Super Bowl at this point. I somewhat agree because they've just been crushing it. They're definitely in the top there. But Carolina, they can be a very good team. We've seen it. They really can put the foot down, and when Bryce is on, they look good. Rico Dowdle pictured here, he's going crazy this year. I'm happy for him. I'm still going Rams. I don't think I can do that big of a line. I feel like I gotta go with that. So going Rams. Matt's going solo again. That's good solo though. I like it. Better than like me picking Saints solo for sure. Here, is someone going to go solo on this one here? Let's see. We're about to find out, folks. We got the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are 4-7 on the road, West Coast, going over to the Seattle Seahawks, who are 8-3. The Seahawks are 11.5-point favorites. Zach, maybe the Vikings backup Max Brosmer can provide a spark in place for JJ. But doing so in Seattle is a tough ask. He's going Seattle over the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I remember watching Max Brosmer play for Minnesota in the Big Ten, and he's cheeks. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the favorite son, JJ. It's really a sad thing. I I don't hope he has a concussion, but I do hope it's a legit injury and not just another one of these kind of fake benchings. I think if you're the Vikings, you got to just play him every single play the rest of the year and see what you have. And if he doesn't improve, you bring in someone for competition next year. But if you do these like 2-3 week benchings again, you're going to go into next year unknown. So it's wild to see. I'm honestly shocked that he's looked that bad. I'm obviously going Seattle in this one. I think at home they're the way better team, but just wanted to say that about JJ. And I don't know if Brosmer looks good. That probably looks even worse for JJ because Wentz looked pretty good until he fell apart and all the injuries took over. If Brosmer looks good, then it proves that their coach can make anyone look good because we saw Darnold looked great last year. Man, yeah. So it's a unfortunate thing for JJ, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the Seahawks. The only thing I'll say about JJ and the Vikings is the more I look at it, I'm just like, how did we lose to that team? Like he was coming off.
Yes.
I think that was his first week coming back, and how did we, not take advantage of that? Yeah, the stats around him have not been great. I think a lot of JJ. Given his time at Michigan, so. Hopefully, he turns it around, but I think Seattle's such a tough place to play. Yeah, Seahawks.
Yeah, let's ham it up here. Sam Darnold revenge game. But the question is, can Brosmer throw it within 6 feet of Justin Jefferson? Just do that like 15 times. You got a chance. I mean, what else you got to lose? All right, real quick though, like if it's not JJ, who's starting next year for the Minnesota Vikings at QB? If it's not JJ, like maybe he's in competition and he loses the battle to blank. It can be a vague statement like, is it a rookie? Is it so-and-so? Is it so-and-so?
Kirk Cousins?
I got
Kyler Murray?
No, that's
Kyler
he
Murray.
ain't going
Yeah.
back.
Jameis in that offense would be fun.
Oh, I would be so scared of that.
That would be hilarious, bro.
He
What
would
about-
probably rip it up over there, man.
Yeah.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Dude, he's dead. No.
Yeah, no.
Following the Brett Favre trajectory.
I'm trying to think, like, what are some older quarterbacks that, KOC can revive again?
They could trade for Mac Jones. And I don't know what his contract looks like unless it's up. He looks
That's
good
a
right
decent
now.
call. Geno? Get Geno out of Vegas?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't know about hopefully, but let's give JJ a chance. I mean, he's the comparisons are
already. Well, yeah.
The comparisons are not looking good.
No.
But
essentially, he's like the worst quarterback in NFL history outside of Jamarcus Russell. It's not just the worst quarterback this year. It's rough.
Oh man. Buffalo Bills. They are 7-4, headed over to Pittsburgh, who is 6-5. Is that right? 6-5. And Buffalo Bills are 3.5-point road favorites. We got Zach says, I just trust Josh Allen so much more than anything about the Steelers. He's going with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, both of these teams are kind of inconsistent, which is surprising for the Bills. I don't know what's going on with them a little bit. They've also lost their last 2 road games, but I do think they get back on track with or without Rodgers. I think Buffalo still wins this game.
Yeah, I do too. I think, Josh Allen, he's getting a little, he'll have a lot more of a chip on his shoulder, I think, than he has earlier this year. And yeah, the Steelers have not looked great. I assume Rodgers is back, but yeah, give me the Bills.
Yeah, you can probably tell by my graphics who I'm going to pick here. I went with like a crazy Uncle Rogers vibe with a busted wrist. Yeah, the Bills, I was wrong with them last week. They weren't ready for the Houston Texans defense. Just played lights out at home. The Steelers defense is very different this year in comparison to the Texans. I'm going with Josh Allen and the Bills. This one I feel a little bit bad. Like that's a big stray right there for Pete Carroll, but
Oof.
yeah, we got the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders are 2-9. They're at the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 7-4. The Chargers are 8.5-point favorites. Maybe the two worst offensive lines in the league going off on each other. Zach, the Chargers at home coming off a bye, and the Raiders they're looking bad enough to fire offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. He's going Chargers over the Raiders.
Yeah, I like what you picked here with the graphics, because the irony here is, Jim Harbaugh, when he was having his little dalliances with the NFL, it was always the Raiders' job that it seemed like he wanted, and they, never obviously hired him, let him go to the Chargers, and now, he's got the Chargers playing pretty good. The Raiders are a dumpster fire. I've picked the Raiders 2 weeks in a row. Don't know why. It's obviously not worked. I'm going to go with the Chargers. The odd thing about this game, though, is looking at the Vegas lines. It opened up at 10 and it's gone down to 8.5. So I don't know if Vegas knows something, or maybe 10 is just way too high. But Chargers at home against the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm right there with both of the first two here. So yeah, good, well done on the graphics here, Jordan. It looks like you saw the Chargers are going to be in their navy blue again. Always nice to see that. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders, gosh, I haven't seen anything good out of them aside from Max, here and there hitting some sacks. But yeah, I love the picture. That's like perfectly sums up Jim Harbaugh.
Deep frying turkey on the beach.
Yeah.
The colors were completely coincidental. I had no idea they were coming out with those. I did see that like today or yesterday, but I love that blue too. Yeah, I'm joining you. Obviously, I probably shouldn't give it away so much, or deter anybody if you want it. I mean, Max Crosby and the boys on the D line. This is the time to eat right here. This is not a good offensive line. I'm not sure. I wasn't deep into the injury report today. I know
Amari Hampton might be back.
That's what it was. Okay. I didn't know if he was going to maybe play this week or not, but he started practicing, it looks like. Saw him running drills and stuff. He looked fairly normal.
Yeah, I kind of assumed coming off a bye that he would play, but
I went kind of in the well here. We got Tim Tebow. I thought I'd bring him back. I don't know why. I was going to go Bo Nix or Sean Payton, but decided to go in a different direction. We got 9-2 Denver Broncos are 6-point road favorites headed over to Washington, who is 3-8. Got some old team members here. That was the I think they're averaging the oldest team in the league or something like that. Let's see. Zach has the two teams on complete opposite trajectories. I expect that Denver D to put the clamps on. He's going Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to go Broncos too. I didn't have too many notes for this. I mean, Washington has a terrible D. Denver has a good D. Both of Denver's losses are on the road, though, so, never know. But, yeah, I think Washington's in tank mode.
They are. I'm also going the Broncos. I kind of thought about, hey, maybe, Denver hasn't lost in a while. Washington's East Coast, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think Sean Payton's going to mess around with them. I think he'll take care of business over there.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on Denver. I don't know. Jane Daniels might be back. I'm not sure. He might be coming back soon. But that defense is just too bad. So I'm going Denver. Let's see here. We got the New York Giants are 2-10 on the road going to New England, who is 10-2. New England is 7.5-point favorite. This is the Monday night game, folks.
I like that.
Dun, 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 dun.
You got the Brady in the background there.
Yeah. Brian Dable from the couch. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. I feel like he was pretty well respected before the hiring with the Giants, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up afterward. Zach is going, he says, I am tempted to pick the upset. There's a world where that Giants pass rush is teeing off on New England's beat-up O-line. The Giants are dead last in run defense, giving up 157.2 yards per game. The Patriots have been running the ball well recently. He's going Patriots over the Giants.
Yeah. Do they have any life left with Jameis? Any magic? I don't know. They're 0-7 on the road. Patriots, good D. Giants do not have a good defense. I'm going to go with the Patriots kind of because of that. Although the Giants have played some good team stuff. We've seen, with them against Green Bay and the Lions, and they beat the Eagles. So it wouldn't be crazy if they won, but I'll go with Patriots.
I'm going Patriots as well. If it was in New York or I guess New Jersey, for that matter, I might think about picking the Giants. But yeah, I mean, New England has just been rolling so much, and the Giants, the way that they lose this year, obviously, and last week against the Lions, but gosh, they've blown so many leads that I don't know, the vibes just are not great over there. So yeah, just sticking with the Pats here.
This would be a fun one to go. I don't think the Giants are that bad of a team, either, but I think you kind of said that Jameis has one of those games every once in a while where he'll just like light it up. And unfortunately, we were at the wrong end there. We were lucky to sneak out with a win in overtime. Oh my goodness, that was I thought we were goners. I'm not gonna lie there. I'm going New England.
Same.
We'll dive into that more. HBB, click the link, check us out. No buys this week. All 32 teams are playing 16 games. It's a full weekend and week of football. Headed to the Lockz. Zach, we already know. Let's throw his points in there. Zach is going with the Chargers over the Raiders for 10 points. He says the Raiders look like the worst team in the NFL. The Chargers with rest and home field advantage.
Zach playing with fire here. This is the last person to lock the Chargers, and
oh yeah,
they've not been good to us. So my lock, I am now very nervous about. Matt, you scared me with your
You're
good
welcome.
points when we picked the game. I'm going to lock the Eagles over the Bears. But yeah, I'm very nervous now because you got me thinking a little bit. But I'm gonna lock the Eagles for 10 points.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, so I've been going back and forth between two teams the last basically 90 seconds because that's when I'm looking at the locks and who I have left. And gosh, it is down to slim pickings. But I am going to go with the Jaguars. Give me 10 points. They're playing the Titans. And if I can't lock against the Titans, who am I locking?
Well, I'm going to stick with 10. I was close to going a different route and not going 10, just for the record. However, I remembered the team I didn't pick last week. I had them on my list. I was going to pick them. I went a different direction, and I'm so glad I did because I'm feeling good about the Seattle Seahawks over the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go ahead and use that one up right now. Vikings, yeah, I got to pack. Like Troy said, see what JJ's got left in the tank here at the end of the stretch and look forward to some mock drafts, And that does it. That does it again here for us, folks. Thanks for joining us. If you want to listen to some more, information about the Detroit Lions, the upcoming games and all that, thanks for joining. Have a good Thanksgiving. We hope everybody enjoys some time with family and friends or whatever that means to you. Get some good grub, watch some football, and we'll see you guys next time. You guys got anything closing here?
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yo, you ever heard of the man in the mist? Not a ghost, not a myth, but he never gets missed. Zach in the shadows, rolling them dice. When he drops a bet, you don't gotta ask twice. He ain't in the photos, but he's always in the game. Whispers in the chat, yeah, you all know the name. Moves like a phantom, but the stakes are real. When Zach calls a play, you know the room gon' feel. I roll a low profile, bets like a storm. He's the wild card analyst, breaking every norm. Everybody's waiting on the ghost in the room. Zach's got the numbers and he's bringing the boom. You won't see him coming, but you know when he's near. I High roller energy, make the haters disappear. He's a legend in the group chat, never on cam. But when he drops a pick, everybody's like, damn. Stats in his mind, poker face on lock. He's the wild card, baby, always ready to shock. Everybody's waiting on the ghost in the room. Zach's got the numbers and he's bringing the boom. You don't see him coming, but you know when he's near. High roller energy, make the haters disappear. So here's to the fan, I'm the man with the plan. Zach's in the building, you just don't understand. He's the wild card analyst, the legend unseen. But when the chips fall, he's the king of the scene.